everybody, and welcome to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. My name is Sean, and joining me shortly will be Z, co-host of the Our Reviews Will Kill You podcast. You know, him and Noob over there, they do a great job. They review anything and everything. Noob is the crazy one, and Z steadies the ship. Today we will talk about Tiger King 2. It's the sequel, you know, Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin. It's quite the trip. They start giving an update, of course, from the original season that caused quite a stir nationally. Jeff Lowe, you know, gets involved and a bunch of other craziness. So let's get talking about Joe Exotic, Carol Baskin, and company.
Joining me for this exclusive interview, sometimes not interview, bullshit session, the one and only Z. How are you doing this evening, sir?
Very good, sir. Should I call you Mr. Sensibly or Mr. Cynical today? Which one am I talking to?
Well, Mr. Cynical, that'll work. Z, welcome to the Four Timers Club.
Four Timers. I'm like Kobe, but I need three more.
Well, to everybody listening to this gibberish, thank you, and go ahead and subscribe to the Sensibly Cynical podcast. And our guest Z, co-host of the Our Reviews Will Kill You podcast. Tell us what you guys do over there.
I would say we review movies and tell dick jokes. We spend quite a bit of time. We cover ridiculous news as well, and sometimes I force Noob, my partner over there, to eat vile things. So those are some of the things that we do. We just like to be silly and have some fun and bring some levity to the world.
I think I saw Noob do something stupid. Was that one of the things?
Yes, probably.
Was that one of the things?
I think he was supposed to take some of the dust from the death chip and rub it on his nipples. I forget. Typically, we review movies and television shows, but we also review random things like food or activities like prancing in the dark. And we try to keep it light, try to keep it funny. And we say ridiculous things that one day will get us all canceled. Our goal is to be so cancelable that we can't be canceled.
Yeah. So what's your go-to episode to tell people? Like if people like start, like if you're checking your just podcast out or whatever, and what's the usual highlight?
We're on episode 228, and we usually do somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half. And we've said so many ridiculous things I can't even.
You could just blindfold and just pick one.
Yeah, and we do a lot of we do a full length podcast, and then we do shorter things on YouTube, more like news stories where I rant and rave about, like, Boba Fett was one of the last things I just ranted.
All right, today we're going to talk about Tiger King. So, did you see the first season, Z?
Oh, that season was perfect. I love Tiger King.
What's your thoughts on the 22-year sentence? You think it's bullshit, right? You think he didn't do it?
I'm pretty sure that, well, if you watch the new season, they basically say, the guy says ridiculous things, and we're talking about Joe Exotic. Of course. Who else would we be talking about? Joe Exotic is a maniac, but that guy basically came back and said, I tried to kill Joe Exotic, and that story I made was nonsense, and I didn't do it. I think he testified under oath. So I think they're having resentencing for him. So he might be getting out soon, and then all hell is going to break loose, because he'll probably try to kill somebody.
Didn't in the first episode, some of those idiots try to get him pardoned? So, it's been a constant deal there, And what about this Jeff Lowe guy? He seems to be very, what's the word? Does he believe? He must believe in capitalism.
Oh, yeah. He's also like sexy time with the healers. He likes, although he's not going to be having as much sexy time because he lost all his cats. But I don't know which group did it, but they have banned him from owning any exotic animals anymore. So he's not allowed to be a part of a zoo or own a zoo.
Yeah, so he's exotic, but he's not. He's banned. So he's not Joe Exotic, right?
No. Well, just in the fact that he had a zoo and then they seized all the animals, and I don't know if they put them all down and turned them into blue or what they did.
Let's talk about the very beginning, or the first season, a little more in detail. So he violated the Endangered Species Act. Yeah. I mean, he killed tigers.
Have you ever been to one of these roadside zoos? Let me tell you a little story about the roadside zoos. There was one, I'm not going to tell you the name, but there was one in Tampa. And I remember distinctly the guy who owned it telling us that he got like he had pygmy hippopotamuses. And he had gotten them from Pablo Escobar. Because when they seized Pablo Escobar, the drug lord, all of his stuff, he had hippos, but they were so dangerous that the guy had to keep them like in his separate pen because he said they would kill everyone. So these people, I think the other thing, he had a bunch of monkeys and he's like, yeah, these monkeys are from Harvard. And the monkeys were part of a very famous experiment. And I'm like, were they drilling into these monkeys' brains? So these people exist out there where they have these huge plots of land and just get exotic animals and charge admittance for people to come in and check these animals out. And girls, they love the pussies.
Joe shooting guns at like 13. He didn't give this guy didn't give a shit, you know.
Joe Exotic was a sheriff, the youngest Texas sheriff ever, or some crazy.
I thought it said Kansas.
I don't remember which state it was, but either way, I feel like that people would tell you that was a lie. You could easily fact check it. So the story is ridiculous. It gets ever more ridiculous every time they talk to these people.
All right, so let's talk about a little more details. What goes on in season 2?
Season 2 is not the magical, wonderful box that the first season is, because I don't think they had enough material. Did you know, though, that besides season 2, that there's an entirely separate show called, I think it's the Doc Antle story? Do you remember that guy, Doc Antle, with the harem?
Yeah,
from the first season?
Yeah, it's ringing a bell.
He had like long hair and had like 6 wives or something like that.
Just six. That's it.
Temporarily 6. They did a whole separate show just on that guy, because that guy's a maniac and a half too. If you meet a person who has a tiger, first of all, don't spray your shoes with cologne. Second of all, run away. Do not talk to them. Don't pet their tigers. Get away. Season 2 was really good, the first episode, because it like caught up with everybody. Like his boyfriend who's like, yeah, I'm selling butthole bleach. And then the whole they're at the Capitol insurrection riot party, whatever you want to call it. They were there trying to get Joe. You can't write this. This is insanity. But then after that, I was like, this isn't as interesting, because they still haven't put the tiger lady in jail yet. So what's her name? So Claire Danes.
So what's your favorite part from season 2?
The first season, because it's not the first season. The first episode.
But I mean, yeah.
Where I think maybe even them just flying out to they got a private jet, which I think they put stickers on, to go out to the Capitol to get the president to pardon.
Yeah, that's what I meant to. Yeah, I saw that part. That shit was hilarious.
That part is ridiculous.
Didn't they? Were they scheduled to have a meeting and then the Donald got COVID or something? Yeah, I think it was something about that. Donald Jr. was supposed to do something, and then
who the hell knows?
And then Dad Trump got COVID.
So
President Trump at that. I apologize if I'm.
You can always say Mr. Trump too, or whatever you want to call him.
Well, I mean, I'm not OrQ. I don't test the boundaries. Like,
okay. Sorry, we're a little too. We don't take sides usually.
No. You test the cynical side.
We like to push boundaries. That is true. Other shows, you know that. You're like one of the only shows that actually lets us on. We've been quietly banned from like shows that we actually helped create or helped boost up. None of them will have us on. I'm not going to name their names. We've been banned.
It's not like I'm making any money off this thing. let's call it spade a spade. I am selling coffee mugs next month. You should buy one.
I will buy one. I'll buy a coffee mug.
Sensibly Cynical coffee mug.
Can I fill it with alcohol?
$15.
If I can fill it with alcohol, I will drink it on air and I will show it on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's not going to have that crazy green color. It's just going to be the logo and the whatever.
I wanted an insane green mug.
You like the green logo, though. I know you do.
Yeah, go with it.
You remember the old Sensibly Cynical logo? It had the red.
Is it the is that the light bulb one?
The first Sensibly, no, the one before that was red.
Okay.
Oh, maybe you guys didn't see that one, but I used to have a red and black logo.
I like
the old NWO Wolfpack from back in the day. You probably don't know who that was, but
the Wolfpack.
It was a wrestling. Yeah, the wrestling. It was a wrestling league.
Hold on, I'm trying to think.
It was there was the black and the white NWO.
NWO, yeah.
And then there was a wolf. There was a storyline where there was the Wolfpack, the people that were against them, and they had a red and black logo. And I was like, oh, that would be kind of cool to have on a podcast. And then that's how I got the red and black.
So you weren't inspired by Superfly Jimmy Snuka?
No, by what's the guy's name? Sting.
Oh, Sting. Okay, yeah. And he changed his face paint, didn't he?
Yeah. So anyway, just get back on subject before we leave and lose more clicks.
People like the they like it raw dog, man. You go raw.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the Carol Baskin "Woe Was Me" portion of the episode?
I watched Tiger King so hard that I actually watched her appearances on Dancing with the Stars. And I made him dancing with her.
My mom likes Dancing with the Stars. She probably saw her on there. What's your thoughts on her story?
That she's a murderer?
Corroboration, whatever. You think she really did it? I'm talking about seriously. You think she didn't really do it?
She did do it because she paid the guy who probably did it with 52 guns. The day after her husband disappeared, he unloaded 52 guns. That's got to be worth like $100,000. If each gun is worth $2,000, we can even drop it down.
Hold on. I got before we can get in there. Do you think this show could land Carol Baskin in jail?
This show, no, because they need this. There's this new invention.
You get what I'm trying to say, though.
It's called evidence. They have none. They don't even have a body. And that guy.
I'm just trying to think of, is there any information that's going to leak out that could screw her on this?
No, because it's a 30-year-old case and she'll die before they figure it out. The only evidence that was good, that it was any kind of evidence whatsoever, would be the fact that she had the will with the notary, and the notary said they forged her name, which could be a felony, maybe.
Basically, this is the perfect case for reality TV.
Oh, yeah, because they'll never solve it.
It's an old case, and there's plenty of information for people to chew on.
He's talking about her, and he did all those TV shows about her being a murderer. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence, but who else could it have been? Although that guy lived an entirely crazy secret double life. So
of course. First episode where it's his ex-wife or something threw him under. It's 5 minutes in, and she's already throwing him under about how crazy he was and stuff. Well, she found out he liked other things besides women, and so the engagement disappeared.
Yeah.
Why do you think that show's so popular? Is it just because the obvious is so crazy and people like crazy?
I think it's a combination of things. I do think that the pandemic had something to do with it, because clearly the public's taste for Tiger King seems to have waned a little bit. Although I would say, you know what I mean? And it was like a fad, and it's crazier than real life. You know what I mean? People got into something that they're just like, this is out of control. When you watch the dude and he's singing these songs, and then you find out that there's no way that dude's singing these songs. And he paid some dudes to sing these songs about tigers and, well, my tiger, I want to kill this fat bitch in Florida.
Here's the thing, man. I think the quarantine was part of it. Yeah, I would agree with that. The middle part, I kind of faded off of the Tiger King too. Midway through, I'm like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The last couple, I was like, there's a whole thing with that attorney, and I was like, I don't care about you guys. And that's where I was curious about the Doc Antle thing, because they deliberately left him out of that story, and then they did a 3 or 4 episode. You want to see something crazy, you gotta watch the thing about Doc Antle. That's pretty interesting. He was in a sex cult, which shocker. He used the cats to get ladies. Still does. He got in big trouble too, though. I think the FBI is after him too. It's weird because I'm not usually on the same side as PETA.
What's your favorite? What's your spirit animal, Z? What's your internal? Are you a cheetah? Are you a cheetah guy?
I'm a tiger, baby.
Are cheetahs tigers?
Cheetahs are like big cats. They're just like real fast. I'm not that fast.
Who's fat? You know what? You know what would be awesome? You and Noob go on a 40-yard dash and put it on YouTube.
Oh, I would destroy.
Have someone film it. I know one of y'all have girlfriends. Have one of them hold it. And y'all run.
He might have a boyfriend too. You never know.
Well, you know what I'm trying to say. The point,
his significant other, whoever that is.
The fact of the fucking matter is, somebody hold the fucking camera.
We had an arm wrestling contest that I won in all of 1 second. He's not. In fact, he
would
had
win? No, seriously, who do you think's faster? I think it's probably you, right?
Oh my! He's the least physical specimen of any human being you've ever met. He's like what's like the frailest animal you can think of?
Is
like
this a new roasting session?
A gazelle? Yes. It's always a new roasting session. Have to roast.
I'm still waiting on my new pillow. I've been waiting for 3 years on that.
Oh my God.
What's going on?
Well,
I have an order in with the shipping agency.
You have to sleep with a new pillow to feel comfortable, right?
Yeah. I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting on that. But no, man. So you guys still doing those video game things?
We do still stream video games every once in a while. We do. I do most of it. A little bit of GTA. Sometimes it's Noob making fun of me playing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do want to thank you guys because you guys do give the podcast shout out. So I do appreciate, but I wanted to show you my appreciation by telling you I appreciate it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We appreciate you appreciating us. All appreciative.
Oh, it says a gift from Zoom. They're being so thoughtful. Running out of time. We've removed the 40-minute time limit. How thoughtful. What should I give them? Should I send Zoom a new pillow? That would be for their 40-minute time limit expansion.
I'm sure Zoom would accept that wholeheartedly. Who wouldn't want that?
Hey, Google, who owns Zoom? Let's ask Google.
Let's see.
Hold on.
Website Forbes.com. They say Eric Yuan is the founder of Zoom.
Eric, he will use the new pillow.
We're talking to you right now, Eric.
Hold on.
I also found an answer to this question. Is Zoom owned by China?
Thanks for the additional way to add that extra information in. We needed to know that. Is Zoom owned by China? Yeah.
Is it? Hey, Google, is Zoom owned by China?
On the website CNBC.com, they say Zoom is a U.S. founded company, and its founder, Eric Yuan, is a Chinese immigrant who is now an American citizen.
God damn it. China is at home. I don't want to offend your Chinese listeners, but
what caused you to have an interest in podcasting?
I guess I would say it goes back to Howard Stern and Joe Rogan on some level. I listened to Howard when I was in high school, driving into school, and I always liked the idea of a radio show. And then Joe Rogan had his podcast, and I don't do what he does on any level. I would say we're closer to Howard Stern, but like a variety type show of like just random craziness. But yeah, I think it was just the idea that we could, people, I guess the big thing too is like people that I know always used to ask me questions about movies and TV shows, and they're like, explain this about this show and explain this. And,
right.
I was like a comic book collector and writer, and I know like a lot of the backstories and stuff. So it just seemed like a natural fit. And I was like, you know what? I want to do a show. I want to do this. I invited certain people to try to see how it worked. And then we just came up with the show, and it's been going on for, like I said, like 4 years now. So like I said, 228 episodes, 29 episodes, not including like YouTube. I think we have like 600 YouTube episodes or something.
Are you guys making money off this thing? Hell
no. Can't get monetized. Nah, we've had sponsors, but most of it was like free gear and stuff like that. So
you know what's cool about you, Z, is that I don't even think I've ever even thought of asking you what your real first name is. It's just Z. That's all I need to know about.
Some of my best friends call me Z, so it kind of is my name. So
Okay.
it's connected to my name.
What's the saying? You don't want to disclose the ingredients on something. You know,
we like to be mysterious here because some of us work at high
Don't get too
level.
personal. I don't want you to get too serious. You know, did Howard Stern ever get serious in interviews? I think he did.
He did. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
It didn't matter how much money he was given to do it, but
oh my dude, that dude is a billionaire, and now he's like a cuck. I'm not even a Howard Stern fan anymore.
Yeah, he did. I remember him doing. It was funny. Do you remember the show? It's still on. Do you remember America's Got Talent? He did that for a while, and him and Howie Mandel would have like bitching sessions against each other. Howard Stern would be like, "Oh, I like original," because these bands would come on, you know, no name, like people trying to make a name for themselves.
Yeah.
Howie Mandel would be like, "Well, I don't like original songs," because he likes covers, and then Howard Stern would be like, basically call the guy out.
He's got so much money. I think he's just lost touch with what's going on in the world.
He probably got laid so much in the 90s.
I don't think so, because I think he was he was pretty faithful to his wife, and he has he's got his new wife who's a fairly attractive model.
Oh yeah, okay.
Plus he's a hypochondriac, just like Howie Mandel. So I don't think he's touching anything. I think he's like, because I heard a story. He told a story like he makes her have a shower, like a hot shower, before every time they have sex.
Did you watch the original, like the old Howard Stern show on the E Network?
Oh hell yeah, that's what I grew up on.
Like, what do you remember from that time?
It's interesting because it was so outrageous, and nowadays people would consider it taboo. Like, even though much of what he does has been normalized, you couldn't have a show like that right now because people would be outraged. They'd be, they're Puritans now. They can't have. They'd be like. Those people, they would say he was taking advantage of those people.
I remember one episode where he would have girls come in there and someone would take a marker and show their stretch marks. Like how sex, like you can't do that stuff. And I you shouldn't do that stuff. That stuff's not right. But back then people didn't care.
But he had people like Beetlejuice, right? This guy who in normal life, no one would ever talk to or do anything with, but he made him a celebrity and made him be able to have a living and be able to have a life outside of just maybe like being on the fringe of society. And I do think that's one thing that's underappreciated about Stern was, as much as people thought he was making fun of these people, he still gave them like something else that they weren't getting from anybody. Like Crackhead Bob and all that whole gang. Although a lot of them are dead too. They all had very short lives. So I think that's was it Eric the Drunk or the Drunk Midget? Like all those guys. Like I just you couldn't do that today. People would be like, you're being insensitive. You're gonna be our first guest now that we can have guests.
You've been saying that for longer than I've been saying I'm gonna be making money off this thing.
Well, we had technological issues that have been finally figured out. Like, I'm not a tech wizard.
Oh, now, hold on. Is this breaking news?
Yeah, we're gonna have guests again. We've had some really good guests and some really crazy guests.
Breaking news.
News. Now. Our reviews will kill you. We'll have guest appearances from such people as Sensibly Cynical.
Unless
you decline it.
I won't. As long as it's not like 2 a.m.
No. We do the 7:30 Friday night Eastern Standard Time.
Shit, you're gonna have me online? Do I have makeup? Am I get my hair on right?
It's up to you, man. It's up to you.
Can I keep my hair all wild like this? 35, single, no kids. I'm hitting to that midlife crisis.
Oh no!
I'm like right there.
Oh man!
Where my career is, is taking off a little bit. Knock on wood, but I'm still waiting on that female. But it is what it is. Can't let it down. Can't keep me down.
Maybe if you come on the show, we'll find you a date.
It doesn't help that I'm short too. Being short doesn't help matters.
Look, man, there's somebody for everybody. You'll find somebody. If you can find people, then you too can find people. Have you seen what that man looks like? Have you seen how hairy that man is?
In all seriousness, I consider Nim a good friend too. In all seriousness, you guys are, and that's the thing about this podcast, man. Is it's given me like it's a community. Like I didn't realize that until I started like doing podcasting. Like podcasters stick together. Have you joined those podcasting groups, Z, on Facebook?
I don't
ones.
have any social media whatsoever.
No, but there's some good ones. Just make up an account or something for the pod. You have a podcast? Do you guys have a podcast account? I mean, of course you have a podcast, but I meant like a podcast Facebook account.
Not that we have. The only thing we really use is Instagram. We have an Instagram. You got to remember, like somebody took everything with them when they left.
No, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. But what I'm saying is, unless you want to, but I doubt that would be the case.
I think what happens is we're a little too controversial,
mature, risque.
Yeah,
you guys aren't that bad. I think you're inflating your content a little bit.
I'm telling you, I will. I could tell you whenever you want to go off air, I will give you a list of shows that will not have us on ever again, and their subscribers have like gone up.
Into your case, you're actually keeping it very PG for me.
Well, you got to remember, Noob Noob's the one. I don't really curse all that much, and Noob Noob's the one who is a little out of control. Whatever is the newest thing that you can think of that's coming out is what we talk. Like we've been talking about Peacemaker and Boba Fett, and we talked a little bit about the new Spider-Man movie and whatever's coming out that's new and hot.
Mm-hmm.
We'll take a swing at it. Maybe some flavors of Oreo cookies.
Oh yeah, I just had Oreos. You want to see my empty double stuff thing? I knock out a thing of double stuff, man. I knock out a thing of it, dude. I like have cream filling coming out of my, inner sides.
Nice.
The lemon ones are good too. Yeah, the lemon Oreos, those are good.
I think they've been around for like 120 years, which I think is stunning.
What, Oreo? The lemon Oreos?
Oreo cookies in general. I think the brand has been around for 120 because they're about to celebrate new flavors.
Yeah. They're like, it's like orgasmic,
It'll change your life.
It's like those jalapeno chips from Ruffles.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you know what? If I do, or when I come on the podcast, I will have a bag of Ruffles jalapenos. I'll be eating it on air.
Oh, that's good. Do it.
Can I legally do that?
Sure. There's no it doesn't matter. Who's gonna stop me? No one in Nabisco is gonna be like, hey, that's short Irish guy. Tell him to cut that shit out. Cut that out. They're gonna cut. No, you can do whatever. Yeah.
What's his name? Mr. Cynical Sensibly? Yeah, him.
Mr. Cynical. He'd be like, come find me.
No, that's what I go by on these. That's what I go by on these things. So you call me Mr. Cynical Sensibly.
Mr. Cynical Sensibly.
Well, that's what the Twitter handle is.
Oh, really?
Follow Sensibly Cynical on Twitter at Cynical Sensibly. All right, so the recap, Tiger King. Are you? Do you think that there'll be another one?
No, they're out of material. I think they'll probably try to get them to go into something else. But I think they spent, unless there's, okay, I'm lying because there will be changes in the court cases and they'll cover that, but they won't be good. You're going to be like,
Well, what was the ending? I barely remember.
I think it covered like him being retried, and then I know what it covered. It covered they're sending like apparently all the people who put him away are all testifying at his resentence.
Oh,
so it all kind of bends down to that, and then Carol Baskin is getting off scot free.
Carol Baskins. Z, where can people find you on social medias?
You cannot. We don't do social media. We do have an Instagram at ork_u, ORK_u.
Hey, before we go, let's talk about the. Do you have Paramount Plus?
I do not have Paramount Plus. No.
Did you hear about the new South Park though? They came back.
Yeah, with the different. I heard some things. Is that you talk about the one where they're adults?
Yeah, I want to review that. That's what I want to do. If I come back on, can I talk about that?
Absolutely.
I got thoughts about Kyle, how they fucking changed Kyle.
Oh, really? I don't know. What did they do to him?
He's just more evil.
Oh, really? Kyle's more evil? Oh, boy. I hope they haven't gone anti-Semitic.
No, I'm surprised you haven't seen the shit, It's good.
It's so hard to keep up with.
Well, it's post-COVID, and then they do post-COVID return of COVID.
The return of COVID.
Yeah, it's post-COVID. It's the post-COVID series. It's branding, post-COVID branding. It's all about branding, see? Branding.
That's right.
All right, man. Well, enough of this before we go down to 0 listeners. Now, and I helped you out too with you can have people on Zoom and shit.
Yeah, it's the first time I've gotten it to work, so I'm excited.
Well, I do always appreciate it when you take time to come on the podcast and waste time of your precious life. So thank you for letting me waste your time.
It's always good conversation. Always good.
Me and you have always had a good vibe. Same thing with Nunu. I think all three of us have gotten along. It's good.
Absolutely.
I like you guys a lot. Thanks, Z, for coming on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. Everyone, subscribe to the Our Reviews Will Kill You podcast. You will maybe regret it, but not really.
You'll have a great drive time in, I promise you.
All right.
Peace.
It's almost here. Coming up this week, I will be opening the Sensibly Cynical shop. There I will be selling coffee mugs, quality coffee mugs, nicely priced, a variety of different colors. So please support the podcast. Please subscribe on YouTube. WordPress, we are on there. Instagram is at Sensibly Cynical Pod. Twitter at Cynical Sensibly. And please follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to the Sensibly Cynical podcast wherever you get them. And now it's time for this week's Instagram trivia results. About 3 weeks ago, I posted an album cover and asked the following question. What is the name of this 2000 Linkin Park album? The answer was Hybrid Theory. And we had 3 winners. First winner, independent rapper Freestyle, who I had on the podcast not too long ago. Follow him on Instagram at The Real Freestyle. That's PHREESTYLE. Next winner, Dawn over there at A Teaspoon of Healing podcast. She's been on this podcast multiple times. Subscribe to her podcast, A Teaspoon of Healing, today. And last but not least, at Tata Beloved 02_part 2. Got it right. Thanks again for listening to this week's episode of the Sensibly Cynical podcast. Please stay safe and take care.